Marshall with the Crusaders. Scott Robinson.
Yep.
Scott Robinson.
Close, rip straight off.
Conor McGregor, Israel Adesanya, John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva, bro.
And we're back for another episode of the group chat. Welcome back, Phil. What are you feeling? How was the weekend for you?
Pretty terrible.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, Warriors lost. AFC lost. Man United won, actually. That was good.
Terrible.
It was a back-to-back L for Go Media.
Yeah. Tough weekend to be at Go Media. I'm glad that we were there on the Saturday, not the Sunday, because it absolutely pissed down on the Sunday.
It did, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, torrential almost.
Yeah.
Good game, though, regardless.
Both?
The 2-1
Or
exit.
just the-
Both were good. Just also, disappointing for different reasons.
Yeah.
Obviously. You wanted Go Media magic when we kind of got like Go Media tragic. I don't know.
Wow.
It was,
Did you just think of that on the spot? That's pretty good.
I don't know. It's just like at the game, obviously, we're disappointed with the refs' decisions. And then watching the Warriors game, I couldn't believe how there weren't more Raiders with yellow cards. But
It was just a deflating weekend. And unfortunately for Aucklanders, a cursed weekend.
indeed,
Really?
Weiner got pumped.
Yeah.
Blues had a bye.
Yeah, not a lot good going for Auckland. The only silver lining there, I guess, is the boy from Pukekohe, Liam Lawson, scoring points at Monaco.
Indeed.
So I guess for every disappointment, there's a little upside. And obviously the upside for the rest of New Zealand football fans that don't support Auckland FC, the Knicks, fairly happy with it.
They can still win it.
They can still be the first New Zealand team to win it.
Still, what a season, though. Well,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
We'll get into it, but we might as well get started. Phil, question of the week. What do you got?
whoa. What is my question of the week? I guess we're talking about the NRL. So lots of news coming out about Lachlan Galvin to the Bulldogs, supposedly. A couple of change rounds for that team lineup. But we've talked enough about him, especially when you were away, I think.
Oh, you and Goran chit chat a lot about Lachlan Galvin.
Indeed. So what we'll talk about instead is the NRL was reportedly missing like 213 million in terms of the amount of talent that was missing over the weekend
What?
for various reasons.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
So from that past weekend, as you would know in your fantasy draft,
Yes.
how many players were quote unquote missing? Do you think?
So everyone that was either unavailable due to selection for Origin, injured, buys.
Yeah. Yep. You pretty much ticked off the categories.
Was there another category?
No.
Suspended?
State of origin. Well, yeah. But injured or suspended, I would kind of reckon
okay.
as the same.
Okay, let's think about this. How many is in a State of Origin squad?
Count the injury ward.
It's got to be at least... Okay, there's at least 50, and then I'm going to go... So that's probably what? State of Origin squads plus buys. Oh, sheesh. If a whole team's on a buy... Oh, okay, hang on. All right, if we got to be north of maybe 70... Are we doing numbers, as in...
You're
the
not getting any
number
help.
of player.
Yeah,
a number of players
yes,
unavailable.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the total worth of like their salaries
Yeah.
or was over what, 200 and something million?
Yeah, like 219.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say like, I wonder how many players are in the NRL. Quick maths. Let's go. There was 128 players either unavailable for selection, injured or suspended, or on a bye.
How much?
128, did I say?
Okay. So you pretty much want to double that.
Really?
246 players. 36 from State of Origin, 119 on a bye.
100. Yeah.
Like you had
okay.
like what?
Maybe I
six-
miscalculated the buys.
7 teams on a
17
bye.
on buys, and then it's you count in the whole squad.
And then, okay, so with injured or suspended, how many people do you think were out?
80.
91.
Yeah,
Which is more than I thought. I did not realize so many were actually.
that was
injured
just
or-
purely based on quick maths from saying 34 State of Origin, 100 and something.
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
So
yeah.
a little bit of grace
You were
there.
close, yeah. So
246 players
Yep.
in the entirety of the NRL were unavailable.
Yep.
This weekend just gone. Yep. That is actually bonkers.
And you did see some big upsets, and I know Wayne Bennett has mentioned before, like, these weeks, these State of Origin weeks takes a
toll on the league. It's actually
takes a toll, and he's also claiming that he's lost, championships or premierships because of these weeks.
Wow. I mean, if you dive into it, that's probably a fair comment. Like, you lose 1 or 2 games. It's
depending on your
such
team,
fine margins in what it takes to win a premiership or a championship.
Yeah.
The margins are so slim. And if you're losing these games in State of Origin weeks, that could be the difference between having a home run at a grand final as opposed to going on the road and having to do it away from home. So I guess, but you can't just pause the NRL.
No, you can't. And
so
also,
you have to do something.
The Sharks were virtually untouched by the State of Origin changes,
and
they still got pumped.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter.
They were $1.30 favourites. They had no one really missing, and then look at that results. So. But yeah, crazy, 246 players.
Okay, that is wild. That is not a number I was expecting to hear.
Yeah, massive.
I was thinking around the 50 to 130, or maybe the 80 to 130.
That's
I went
crazy.
on the higher side, but 246 is mental.
And also to still have a good weekend of NRL before the State of Origin too.
Well, I think just because of the amount of chaos there is when you take out 250 players.
Yeah.
Like it's, crazy. Well.
Is that every underdog that won this weekend? Is that what happened? I think it did. Wow.
Oh, because Raiders were underdogs against the Wild.
Eels, Dolphins, Knights.
That Dolphins game
Roosters.
was crazy.
Jeepers.
So all underdogs.
Love it.
Bet no one picked that.
Is it the love alike? I love it. Apart from Warriors losing. Having all underdogs win is huge.
I guess. Were Raiders above us? No, they weren't above us on the table. Were they? They're third?
Yeah, we were second.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we should have been favoured in that game, but I guess home, winning streak.
No Barnett, no Fisher Harris. I think we should have been favoured, the winning streak. Probably could have won that game if a few other things went our way. But yeah.
All right, well, like I said last week, we're going to continue to name the group chats every Tuesday. So this week, the group chat is just, last week it was Bill Foley the Big Dance. This week it is the Bill Foley Curse is real. And we talked about it last week with the Vegas Golden Knights, but Auckland FC, we'll dive into the reactions and blah, blah, blah. But my goodness, what a season. But it's all over in the end. And Bill Foley said he's 100% confident they were going to win the league. I'm sure he would have said that when Vegas made the Stanley Cup final. But the curse is real and the curse lives on. The only silver lining to that is Vegas Golden Knights did come back and win a Stanley Cup within their first 3-4 years of inception, basically. So Auckland FC fans, if you're following the same script with Bill Foley in the lead, there's a championship in your future.
It's a good curse to have, I think, because they still won the Premier's play. Put in the context of the league and where Wellington Phoenix are, imagine if they swap places.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously tough getting to the finals, getting to the semis, coming up short, especially with a 1-0 aggregate.
I mean, it's a...
And it all comes apart, really, after that deflection goal. It sucks. Also sucks for Paulson. That's back-to-back semi-finals now.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Good
to
semis,
Melbourne Victory too.
Good semi-finals, but tough. Both to Melbourne Victory.
We were both saying, where's that Zawada moment coming from? Who's going to be the Zawada moment for Auckland FC?
And it did happen.
Well, yeah, it did. And fortunately, the refs, touchy, VAR, all in Steve Corica's words, made a poor decision. And they weren't allowed to get back in the game because of these refereeing decisions. I think
same aggregate.
2-1. Yeah, I know.
Crazy.
Back to back. And I guess that just shows how, like we just said, fine margins, how hard it is to win these championships. But for Auckland FC, they'll be better for the experience. I mean, Melbourne Victory have played a lot of finals football. They know how to get through to a grand final. They've done it before. Auckland FC have not done it.
Mm.
And I guess that experience shows. I don't know if Melbourne Victory's game plan was to slow it down, play on their pace, take the sting out of Auckland FC, and then almost bring them down to their level. Like the physicality, the hot-headed moments. You see AP running out from goal, getting a yellow card. He should probably know better. But the tensions were high, and so they should be. But I just felt like they boiled over a little bit for Auckland FC.
Yeah. I mean, that was in the first half too.
Yeah, exactly.
So tensions were really high. I mean, they did well to defend that first sort of 20-minute onslaught.
Mm-hmm.
But Melbourne Victory, I don't think they had a shot on target before that deflection goal. So
does that count as a shot on target?
Really disheartening to see that. Well, I think they credited him for the goal.
So it would have been going on target. But it would have been going straight into AP's hands.
It was going down the middle, not bottom right.
Me.
So, yeah.
Okay, so the Logan Rogerson goal from Mays Cross, controversy there.
Yep.
What do you make of it? You've got the video on your phone of that ball clearly
being there, and
that was
from
a great video.
My angle from the corner, it looked fantastic.
Mm.
There's obviously other angles that I haven't seen. So if the ball travelled over the line, the ball travelled over the line. But I feel like when you hit the ball and you're hitting it backwards, how is it still spinning forwards and then curling backwards?
That's what I mean. Like he's wrapped his left foot around it. He's kicked the ball while it's in play. If you're wrapping it round
and you've hit it before the line,
I feel like it's going on that trajectory that way. So maybe it goes along the line before it starts curling. But I don't think there's any way it actually goes fully out and back. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
He didn't really flat foot it and then it curved.
He actually wrapped it.
He curled it around.
Yeah.
But that was just our angle, I guess. And
I don't know, but they score that goal. It goes 2-1, 2-2 on aggregate. Different story there. And I mean, that second goal that they conceded, they just kind of switched off. Well played from Melbourne Victory, but it's a nice goal. Just switched off at the back. A little lapse in concentration. And then it takes me back to game one. Nata Moreno, if that goal goes in post to post, Saturday night probably doesn't happen like that, does it? A 2-0 aggregate lead going home? Pretty crazy.
You were right, though. It's reminiscent of that World Cup goal. I can't remember whether it was over the line or whether it didn't cross the line, but I'm pretty sure it was given, wasn't it?
It was given, yeah.
So it's just unlucky.
Was that Nigeria versus Argentina?
I feel like Argentina were definitely involved. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my first thought that came to mind was that. But then when they said, it's gone past the invisible line that goes up.
Yes.
Oh, goodness me. Now, here's a question. Did Auckland FC jinx themselves? You've seen their vinyl record that they released?
No.
So they released a vinyl record, and it basically had all their highlights from their record-breaking season. And it was like released ahead of the final to continue on their record-breaking season.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of jinxing involved. I mean, people would have planned for finals, bought stuff for the finals, brand sponsors. Thank goodness we didn't. But yeah, Auckland FC could have jinxed themselves with that record-breaking vinyl.
But they released it before.
Yes.
Did they?
I'd like to get my hands on one of those, actually. I think there are only 144 or something made. Some weird number. But it would be quite cool to have as a little... We should see if we can get our hands on one.
Yeah, I want to look it up. That's interesting.
The Auckland FC, vinyl. Search it up. That's cool. Did you see any reactions from Knicks fans online? Online?
Oh, it's a nice vinyl.
It is cool, eh?
4 days ago.
I think they had a little Auckland FC event on the Thursday before the final where they unveiled it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is a cool thing.
I mean, especially if it's the stuff from the regular season and getting the Premier's plate. But also, why not wait just in case
you go
do
on
win?
and maybe they knew something.
We're going to concede an own goal. That won't be an own goal. And then, whatever.
AP whips off his AFC jersey and he's got a Phoenix jersey underneath after conceding an own goal.
We'll score, but it'll be disallowed.
Yeah, crazy. Knicks fans, reactions online. You see any?
No.
None?
No.
Wow.
I know I've noticed a lot more chatter, like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, there's a bit of a mix. I mean, you get guys like Goran who is the greater good for New Zealand football. Like, if you can't win, jump on board with Auckland FC.
Mm.
Look where they are. They finished top. Knicks were down at 11th. So there's people who see it that way. But then there's also the people that are like, cry, Auckland, cry, shame, you suck, all that sort of jazz that you're going to get.
Mm.
And I've seen other Knicks fans actually have goes at those people because they're like, look at where we finished. You're a clown if you're hating on Auckland FC.
Yep.
So I think what it does is it creates a bit more of a rivalry next year, which is good for New Zealand football. I think Auckland FC not winning it in their first year is going to be a good thing because if you win it in your first year, have all that success in your first year, it just feels too easy. And then the only way to go is down.
Mm.
Whereas you got to face some hardship before you can taste the success, I think. So hopefully all is well for Auckland FC. Knicks fans, they better get behind their team and hopefully can finish within the top 6 next year.
Yeah.
That'd make things interesting.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that semi-final for you?
No, just huge for them to have the Premiers played at least. And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully some more Knicks fans around next season. The stadium was looking pretty empty for people that like to chat a lot online.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Keyboard warriors.
It's tough. Lose the last 4, lose to Brisbane Roar. It's embarrassing for Wellington Phoenix where they were in that. I feel like the semi-final last year was better than this year's semi-final.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, you have what, 30,000 plus at the Cake Tin?
Yeah. You had what, 29,000 in Auckland.
Yeah. I don't know, this weekend's semi-final just, it didn't feel as big of an occasion as it maybe should have.
Mm.
Whereas the Phoenix, I feel like because they shouldn't have been there. And everyone just loves that underdog story where it was almost the expectation Auckland FC are going to make it through to the grand final here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we'll park that.
It would have been on par had that goal not been disallowed, I think. It would have been on par.
Because that would have set up some extra time.
Yeah.
Maybe penalties.
Yeah.
Oh, we asked the punters, traditional penalties or US one-on-one style penalties? What would you like to see? What are you a fan of?
I like the classic, the straight up traditional.
From the spot?
Mm.
I'd like to see someone give it a go. I mean, they obviously did it in the MLS in its chaotic time that it was and a bit of a mess. But I'd love to see it actually happen. And at a live game, that would be crack up, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure.
But
As the standards, I don't think so.
Yeah, I like the drama of a penalty shootout to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Say like that France,
tense.
Argentina penalty shootout, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think that, but it would be cool to have the US one-on-one soccer penalties type style.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our like it or love it for this week, Phil. So first one for you. Your Chiefs beating Moana Pacifica by 78 points.
Yeah, 85-7.
4th highest total in Super Rugby history.
Really?
Do you like it or
Say
do
that.
you love it?
Love it. A hiding no one saw coming at all. A battering. D-Mac, shooter, link-ups deadly. Hands were good. Forward pack was dominant. Leroy Carter was elusive AF. Like, what can you do against that? That's like... It's almost better than a Melbourne Storm that's on form. That's just everything they try is working for them.
Yeah.
Obviously tough for Moana with the huge win that they did have against the Blues the week prior. If you're having a slight day off and Chiefs are at their best, my God. Well, yeah, you saw what happened. So it's a punishment.
So for you, are Chiefs the best team in Super Rugby? They are on top of the ladder?
Yeah. There's some arguments there, but probably overall, especially when you put on a battering like that, it's easy, like recency bias to say that, 85-7. But Moana didn't do themselves any favours either with the 2 sin bins in the first half. Hurricanes also 5 games undefeated, coming into a close.
Yep.
Throughout the season, yeah, Chiefs probably been a bit better.
I definitely don't love it.
Crusaders, sorry.
Yeah, Crusaders.
People could argue Crusaders, but the game against the Highlanders
I was
was
gonna say
a
that,
tough
yes.
watch. I did not enjoy that
You could
game.
argue the Crusaders, but after that game against the Highlanders, no, you can't be the best team.
Their
But
defense is good. Their defense is
held up well.
their defense is top notch. Everything else is
the Hurricanes had the same thing, though, against the Highlanders. So maybe it's less about the Hurricanes and Crusaders and more about the Highlanders being a sticky stick that just doesn't go away. They're just
Unless they knock the ball on.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can talk about that game. I don't love it. I don't know if I like it. Like, coming off the back of that win against the Blues, I feel like Moana played their final there. It'll be interesting to see how they come out and take on the Canes this weekend. It is a must-win for them after losing against the Chiefs. But, yeah, I definitely don't love it because I backed Moana plus 17.5. So, yeah. We'll move on. Next one, Sunderland. They're back in the Premier League after 8 years, going in between the Championship and League One as well. So they've been up and down the ladder. And they win in the Championship playoff thanks to a 95th minute winner.
Nice
to go
goal
2-1.
too. Very nice.
Do you like it or you love it?
Love it.
Yeah.
A
Nice.
huge redemption story for them.
Yeah. Have you watched that
And,
Sunderland Till I Die?
No.
No, neither. But apparently it's really good.
I can imagine so. Imagine it's pretty raw for a team that kept doing worse and worse. But then, do that is massive, and then shows you all it takes is one bad pass.
Oh, yeah.
One bad pass seals the
Ridiculous.
deal for your team.
I absolutely love it. I think it's cool to see them back up in the Premier League to go through what they did.
Yep.
But I did have a look on the Championship table. I've decided next season I want to support a Championship team throughout the whole season. So obviously I'll keep supporting Arsenal, but just to keep my eye on in the Championship. I don't know who I'm going to support yet, but I was looking at the table. Sunderland finish on 76 points for the season.
Yep.
21 wins, 13 draws, 12 losses. Sheffield, 28 wins and 90 points. So 14 points clear of Sunderland. And they don't go through. Sunderland go through instead.
No one wants to see Sheffield United back in the
No,
Prem,
they
though.
don't. They really don't. So,
Yeah, if we also look at the last 5, Sunderland losing their last 5 games as well. A lot of points on offer there.
yeah. So I love to see it. And the scenes would be crazy, absolutely crazy over in Sunderland.
Also, to have 100 points, win 28 games, lose only 2, and not win championship is hilarious.
How mental is that? The champion. This is why I think I want to support a team in the Championship, just because it is a crazy league. Like poor Burnley, 28 wins, 100 points, and you aren't finishing first in the league.
Yeah,
what the heck? But they get the automatic promotion, so fair play to them. Leeds just the better team on the day. Credit to the boys. Third and final, like it or love it. We both agree there, we love it.
Yep.
Liam Lawson scores his first points of the season, finishing in a career best 8th in the Monaco Grand Prix.
Nice.
You like it or you love it?
I like it. I would have loved it if he secured points in his first race under Red Bull. More than that at Monaco, where you can just sit back and hold the pack up.
Yeah.
But played a very good race, so yeah, I like it. Nice Lawson.
Yeah, like it, Lawson.
Yeah.
I love it just because I think the situation he's put in, obviously, his teammate Isaac Hadjer finishing above him. But what Lawson did was play the team game. He held that pack up. No one could pass him.
Yep.
And Monaco this year, they introduced you have to run at least 3 sets of tyres. So you have to do 2 pit stops. That's trying to make the race a bit more interesting. Lawson was able to hold the pack up to create a big enough gap for Hadjer to get his 2 pit stops in and still not lose any positions. So credit to Lawson for playing the team game. Also, finishing in a career best 8th.
Yep.
Also, Yuki Tsunoda finishing in 17th, who took his spot. So just pulling the double finger to Yuki Tsunoda on his way to a points finish and probably the most famous F1 race. Although it's not much of a race anymore. But yeah, congrats to Liam Lawson.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to move on to the betting. I just wanted to... We talked a little bit about the championship. EPL, done and dusted. At the start of the season, we had our relegation predictions.
Yeah.
Do you remember who you predicted? I've got them here.
Southampton.
Yep.
Brentford.
Yep.
I don't know who my last one was. I say Leicester, or did I say they would be fine?
I think you said Leicester were fine because it wasn't Leicester. I don't know how you'll feel about it.
Oh, fuck. It's not Nottingham, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
The issue with that is...
I more than happy More than happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm stoked with their season. Well done to them.
The issue there is I also had Nottingham going down.
Yeah.
But then I had Leicester and Ipswich. So I went 2 for 3 and then drastically wrong for the third.
Oh,
You
you
had
did have
Southampton
Leicester?
in there.
Yeah, Southampton, yeah.
Together, actually, I've just noticed. Together, we got it. You had Southampton, I had Leicester and Ipswich.
Team effort.
Come on. So we'll probably need to...
Yeah, I'm glad for that Nottingham side. Glad to be wrong there. Well,
Okay, let's go on to our betting from the weekend.
Yep.
And then, because it's State of Origin tomorrow, we'll have a little look at that. I've got some stats for you. But yeah, 50-22 versus 40-20. Did yours get up?
my 40-22?
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
Also, I think I was going to talk more about Brentford, but we don't have to. 40-20, no, because I had Hiroti to score, which he did. It got called back for obstruction.
Mm-hmm.
It's not obstruction. If you can make it to the player and you still miss your tackle twice, you're not obstructed. You just suck. Sharks to win 1-12. That didn't happen. Roosters dominated. Sharks were terrible. It's embarrassing. I don't know what happened to the Sharks, but they can do that. Unfortunately, they did it this week. So
Daggers.
big daggers.
My 40-22 was an absolute... Sorry, 50-22 was an absolute sweat fest in that Canes-Reds game. Canes going in as underdogs. I backed them with the alternate point start, so -3.5 to win by 4 or more, winning by exactly 4. And then they should have won by a few more.
At least 7.
I don't know. Like, it was a crazy game. It was a good watch.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that because I was like, yup, that's the tough one out the way. Now, my second leg was Moana Pacifica and Chiefs. Chiefs to win 1-12. Now, that was out of the water in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think what was about 30-0, 20 minutes in. So that was dead and gone, 50-22. I just can't stop going 1 for 2.
You'll love it.
I just can't. I don't know why. And I was sitting watching the Hurricanes on Friday night. A couple of our bets had come in for the first couple of legs. I was thinking, this is shaping up to be a good betting weekend. We get an Auckland FC win.
Yep.
We get a good Warriors game. Like, this could be a very good weekend for us betting-wise. And then turn around, looking back on it, we got absolutely roasted. So my lock comes to an end, the streak. AFC not winning, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Your lock?
It's up.
It got up?
Indeed.
Come on.
High scoring half. Warriors v Raiders to be the first half, and it was 2-10.
Let's go. Warriors' first half markets seem to be winners at the moment. I like it a lot. My laugh, again.
I don't like that we're struggling in the second half so much.
No,
that's what
that
I don't
isn't.
like.
That
But that's why I picked that.
My laugh looks super good again. Ruben Love, dotting down, first try scorer for the Canes.
Tick.
Sever Reese,
Tick.
breaking TJ Piranara's record. So
Huge.
And then I'm baffled by this. The Chiefs score 84 points, and Amoni Narua doesn't score a try. How many tries did the Chiefs score? 13?
Yeah, but you've got to factor in his nose is pretty much broken, what?
Yeah.
20 minutes into the game, maybe, if not earlier.
If you don't watch that game, and you look at that score, and you have one of the better wingers in the comp to score, he was $1.53 to score.
Yep. Well, that's why his nose got smashed. I tackle.
God, that was brutal because that is my laugh. And I was paying like $11 for 3 try scorers across the day.
Yeah,
across the weekend.
Should have gone for the other wing. Who scored a hat trick,
bruh,
and who should get a black jersey in due course. I had
your laugh.
I had Knights and Dolphins both to win. 752. Knights and Dolphins.
That is huge.
Both won.
That is massive. Yeah.
Somehow the Knights won. So.
I think, what'd you say about Penrith going 4 grand final wins on the trot and then getting a wooden spoon? Is that, obviously no one's won 4 in a row and then got spooned.
Yeah.
Has there been a team go grand final winner wooden spoon the next year?
I don't know.
We'll need to look into it.
Yeah. It's bonkers.
That is actually wild.
Be sitting at the bottom of the table. And also lose to the Knights, who are the worst performing team this season.
Knights without Ponga too. Like,
Yep.
what's going on?
Now we just need Knights, Ponga to score a hat trick, and then all of a sudden the Knights start crawling up to the top 8.
and
Resurgence.
Ponga wins the Dally M. I mean, that's just how it's going to work.
He doesn't need to score a hat trick to win a Dally M. He'll just get it anyway. Yeah.
Ladder challenge. I'll tell you what.
What did we do? I can't remember what we did. We did a boost or something, didn't we? No, we didn't. We did
both teams
not to score.
No in the Auckland FC Melbourne Victory game, and it hit.
Yeah,
but it hit not the way we wanted it to.
Not the way we wanted it to.
But that is $25 into like 60 or something. So
Nice.
the ladder challenge climbs up another rung.
It rolls on.
And then multiverse. Severies scored. Canes to win. AFC clean sheet. No. Luke Metcalf to score. No. So we went 2 for 2 to start with.
It could have been.
And then missed the other 2.
Mount Smart let us down.
Mount Smart did let us down massively.
Yeah.
So what looked like it was going to be a good weekend of punting on Friday night after that Canes game and the Crusaders game, dismal.
I don't mind the lock and laugh coming through though, but you're right.
Yeah, you were. Yeah,
there were, considering how we felt going into Mount Smart, we're like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
No.
Maybe if Tarbani got the yellow card he should have got, there would have been a gap for Luke Met to run through and score a try. He's been hit with a $3,000 fine. How you get hit with a $3,000 fine and not yellow carded, I don't really understand. Yeah. Tom Starling, 1 game ban for his jumping shoulder tackle.
Yeah, crazy, eh? He's got really short legs, eh?
Yeah, he's a small fella.
He's just like a weird build. Short legs, long torso.
He's like the halfback, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Halfback.
Yeah, just that build.
He's like a 50 clip.
Yeah.
Without the locks.
Without the long, luscious blonde locks.
And a fat stash. Well, it's good to know that everyone hates the Raiders again. They were becoming a bit too likable, I think, and everyone saw how grabby they are once more, and everyone's back to hating them. So
I'll tell you what, I actually like seeing
the Raiders
them give a bit of stick. Like what one of the players mocked the Mana wave. They're giving it the crybabies as well. Like I think they were giving a bit of stick to the Mount Smart fans and the Warriors fans. I like a bit of tension in the air. I like a bit of dog.
You want a bit of mongrel for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
But I think there's an issue when your captain is crying to the ref and then also emoting, and then also having 3 or 4 fouls in a game and not being yellow carded.
Yeah, I mean
that's an issue.
That's up to the ref though, right? Like I mean, come on. It was a weird referee game, right? Because we had some calls go our way, some weird calls go away.
Yeah,
and then some blatant calls just missed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, lastly, State of Origin, game 1 tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
I'll get into some stats, but firstly, The Rock hosted pot.
Every time I hear The Rock, I just... Dwayne's bald head pops into my...
Imagine if we got Dwayne The Rock coming down to Tyler Street to host a pot in State of Origin. He'd actually probably love it.
Oh, yeah, he would.
He would froth it. But, no, The Rock, Jan Dunk, not The Rock, Dwayne. Hosting our pot, last I checked, 5,540 in the mix.
Damn, nice.
Which is pretty good. So if you haven't already, you can join. Rock Punts, I think, is the code. Get in, have some fun, and then 10 p.m. tomorrow night, State of O.
Massive.
Get stuck in.
I can't believe it's here already. It's so good, man.
It's come around so quick.
So good.
Did you have anything you liked on the game, punting-wise, or do you want me to run through these stats first?
You can go through the stats.
All right. I've got some interesting ones, to be honest. First one being New South Wales have won all 3 State of Origin games that have been played on the 28th of May.
Oh.
Tomorrow being the 28th of May, the 4th time the 2 meet.
Mm-hmm.
New South Wales undefeated. So they won in 1983, 28th of May, 18 points to 2. Then again in 1997, they met on the 28th of May.
Cute.
New South Wales won 8 points to 6. And then again for the 3rd time in 2014, they met on the 28th of May and New South Wales won 12 points to 8. So if that's telling you anything, tomorrow, 28th of May, New South Wales to win under 20 points would be what you take away from that.
And what do you have the numbers on that?
No, I don't. You can feel free to whip it up if you want while we work through this.
Well, you were just the other side of that, unfortunately, because we like, both sides of the coin. Queensland have won the last 3 game ones.
That was going to be my second stat. They've actually won 5 of the last 6 game ones. If you go back, apart from that, 50 points to 6 trouncing.
Yeah, 2021,
in
56.
2021. Otherwise, Queensland have won every other game one in the last 6 years.
Yep.
So very contradicting there.
So we're specifically focused on the 28th.
Yes.
It's very nice. I'll take that. Thank you.
Okay.
And you say under 20 points total.
Wow. The total points is set at 38. The
So
average total points in the last 11 State of Origin games has been dead on 38.
Right.
So you can take the under 38 and a half if you're taking that 28th of May stat for sure. That was another stat I had. The next one, Trell Mitchell has never lost an Origin series.
Okay.
Sticking with player specific.
Did not expect that.
The Hammer has scored 9 tries in his 7 Origin appearances.
That's the same as Valentine Holmes, I think.
Well, there you go.
I think it's the exact same stat.
And then this one is
Crazy.
actually kind of crazy. And it could count for Val Holmes. It could count for the Hammer.
$2.98. That if you go under 38 and a half, New South Wales to win.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
Almost $3.
My last stat for you, in the last 3 games at Suncorp, tomorrow being played at Suncorp, the last 3, a centre has scored the first try.
Yes.
Val Holmes in 2022 and 2023. He did play centre in both of those games. He's suiting up on the wing tomorrow night. Did play centre in both those games. And then in 2024, Bradman Best scored the first try.
Yes, he did.
For New South Wales. So,
Gutted he's injured.
I had those. Latrell Mitchell, first try scorer at $10. The Hammer, first try scorer at $11.50. Stephen Crichton, first try scorer at $17. And then Robert Toya, first try scorer at $23. There's your 4 centres for your first try scorers.
So what was that at Suncorp?
In the last 3 games at Suncorp,
The last 3.
a centre has scored the first try. And it was Val Holmes, both in 2022 and 2023.
Yeah.
Bradman Best in 2024.
Yeah.
So there's my stats for you.
Wow.
Do with that what you will.
Indeed.
Does that influence you in any way, shape, or form? Is there anything you do like?
Slightly. Well, what I was going to say for me is Zach Lomax or Latrell Mitt, someone like an Angus Crichton, actually, the other Crichton.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're in the mix for try scorers there. Something about Crichton in the State of Origin game. Latrell Mitchell obviously in great form. Zach Lomax looking fresh since coming back. And the other side of the coin is obviously Valentine Holmes again. He moves to the wing, but played wing last game of the last series. Centres prior to that. And that's also his, as I say, 9 tries and 7 appearances. So very similar to what you were saying. And then Munster. Munster's an outlier there for me because guys like Munster and DCE are just different breeds when it comes to an Origin game. There's some serious magic going on there, and it's obviously DCE's 26 State of Origin appearance.
That's a lot of State of Origin appearances.
Not big on the scores, not big on the tries DCE in an Origin match, but Munster or Valentine Holmes for the maroon jersey for mine, and then Zach Lomax, Latrell Mitt, or Angus Crichton I'm looking at.
Nice.
The only thing I think Blues lacking in terms of a team, I think everyone, the consensus was that Blues had a better side than Queensland this year.
They are, $1.65 favourites to take this out?
Yeah, so that's actually come in quite a bit, I think. I feel like they were around $1.85 or $1.80 at one point.
Point start at 2.5 too, so you're giving them a penalty grace.
Yeah, so it's looking close. But that interchange is the big difference.
Yeah.
Connor Watson, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, Max King. It's kind of stacked.
Oh, yeah.
The only negative I could pick out is no backline replacement. We struggled with that last year. I think we ended up with Damien Cook on the wing. That's a concern for me. That's the only thing that's missing because that interchange is very, very nice. And I go, okay, but what if a back gets injured?
Yeah.
Connor Watson is versatile, but to what extent?
Yeah.
Whereas you could have a Campbell Graham come in, they could play centre and wing.
Yeah.
Could he come in for a Max King maybe? So they're obviously expecting a close game and want a big forward pack. And
Yeah, for sure.
they
And
wanna
that's where
tee up
lots
that
of those
D.
games, especially game ones, are won right in the 4-pack.
Yeah.
Whoever brings the more physicality to start with wins that battle up front.
Yeah. Massive.
The Betcha boost, there's actually 2 boosts, and I guess it's whether you're a Maroons or a Blues fan. Trell Mitt to score, New
Yes,
South
sir.
Wales to win at 450, and then the same thing for the Queenslanders. Val Holmes to score and Queensland to win also at 450. Obviously, both being Blues fans, liking the Blues, Trell Mitt,
Yep.
New South Wales to score much more.
Yeah, it's also more value too if you take it prior to the boost. And also the stat that it feeds in for the centre.
Yeah.
I do like Valentine Holmes to score this game, though. I know he's pushed out to the wing, but from what you've said about the
28th
centre
of May,
as well,
centres.
Latrell Mitchell and the Blues to win is much preferred than a Queensland dub.
Now, my last thing, and I feel like I just need to do it because I did, and that was the midfield bombs punting to find a multi.
Yeah.
And that came out with To'o, the Hammer, Queensland 13+, which I don't like at all, and over 38.5 points. So I feel like I'm going to have to place that anyway.
Yep.
Just because, like, otherwise, why would have that happened? You know, omens and all that. But I think the unders and a New South Wales win with like a Trell Mitt try would be super nice.
Yep.
So feel free to dabble in that.
Yep. Big.
Well, should we wrap that up there then? And we'll enjoy a State of Origin game tomorrow night, and we'll be back on Thursday, probably to break that down, see what we make of it, and then look ahead for the weekend for some more punting.
Oh, I cannot wait for some State of O. Do you think if... Because obviously Matt Burton didn't get caught up for the Blues this season, which I'm kind of stoked about. He can stay and play because he normally gets caught up as 18th anyway.
Yeah.
It's talk that if Galvin is going to the Bulldogs, he gets pushed to fullback.
Do I think Burton or Galvin gets pushed to
And
fullback?
then Tom Sexton wants out, and apparently Reid Marnie wants out. Does that derail the Bulldogs season? And can Galvin ruin 2 clubs in one season?
I mean, impressive if he can. I mean, there's probably not too many players that can say I've gone and ruined 2 club seasons.
Yeah. And I don't think Burton would just happily shift back to fullback.
No.
He's like, that's my jersey, that's my position. You can take a seat on the bench.
He's earned that jersey, hasn't he?
And Tommy Sexton's been playing well.
Hasn't he? I've got him in my fantasy team.
He's been playing nice.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's coming out of contract, but it's a little bit concerning that this might just derail. And does he start against the Eels next week?
So what you're telling me is Galvin is just being a diva, and he's just...
Well, I don't know so much Galvin, probably more so management, but
yeah,
it's interesting to see what happens if it goes through. I would almost say, sure, come to the Dogs, but then you can have a season on the bench.
Earn your spot.
Play
Earn your
reserves.
stripes. Yeah.
Wait for Toby Sexton to move on.
And I tell you what, Lockie Galvin would say to that. He would say, fuck you, Phil. I need the ball in my hand. I'm going to win us games. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yep. Yep.
Unfortunately. All right, let's wrap it up there, and we'll be back on Thursday to do it all again.